Yo, what's going on? What's good? We're back. We're back after it feels like forever. Feels like forever. We're finally back. What's going on, guys? Just hanging out. Want to come back and chat with you guys. You have any questions? Obviously, leave them. Really, really excited to be doing this again. Obviously, was out of town for about 5 days or so there. Had a nice reset, nice vacation. So whatever question you got, baseball, basketball, football, whatever you want to talk about, the MLB Hall of Fame, that's something I'm really interested in tonight. Really interested to see who gets in. Women's basketball, I mean, anything. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Really, really excited about this. Again, obviously it was you guys probably, if you listen to the podcast, I was on vacation for the last 5 days or so. It was nice to get kind of a mental reset, if you will. Hang with the family. Obviously got some very good quality time in with the fam, but excited to be back. So like I said, you guys leave your questions, comments, whatever you got. Very, very, very excited for this. And again, these are going to become a lot more daily as we creep closer and closer and closer to baseball season, because you guys obviously know how many games there are during baseball season. So there will be a ton of these, a ton of stuff to talk about. Obviously, we got a ton of stuff going on in basketball right now. You guys probably saw the social media clip I put up just a little bit ago. What a week it's been for Carolina basketball, men's and women's. South Carolina women, first off, taking care of business at Missouri. You know that we know that how heated that game is, at least of late. And then obviously, beating Mississippi State last night, 81-79. What a win. Great win for Dawn Staley and company. They continue to truck along. They've got 6 top 25 wins now, which is 2 more top 25 wins than the second most, or the team that has the second most. So kudos to Dawn Staley. I don't think anyone is surprised at what they're doing. And then men's basketball, man, stepping up. I mean, it looked like the season was headed down the drain. Looked like we had no reason to tune in, nothing to watch for, and all South Carolina does is win back-to-back games against Kentucky on a buzzer beater, and then goes on the road to Texas A&M and wins that one. So the landscape of Carolina basketball, and kind of especially the way that I'm thinking about the season, has certainly changed. Like I said, this time is for you guys. You have any questions, comments, whatever it may be, feel free to reach out. And, yeah, we'll go from there. So, like I said, it's good to be back, though. It's very, very good to be back. Had a great vacation. You can never go wrong with Disney World. So I had a blast. Just taking a look here, trying to find out when the Hall of Fame broadcast comes on. Oh, let's see here. Let's see. Young Gamer, what's up, man? How's everything going? Let's see. But no, hope everybody's been doing well. I don't know if many people had the MLK holiday off. I know it's a kind of a federal holiday, but I know most people don't get it off. If you haven't listened to the podcast, today's interview is awesome. Carlos Cortez, great interview. A lot of great insight on that run to the Super Regionals. You know, the team that almost made it to Omaha. Really, really good stuff. You should check that out for sure. Really, really good stuff. So, let's see. How close do you think the quarterback battle between Doty and Hilinski will be this offseason? What effect do you think the Colorado transfer quarterback will have? So, right now I'm playing it sort of safe. Like, I'm not going with the bold prediction that Ryan Hilinski's not going to be the starting quarterback come, the opening game against Coastal Carolina. But I think a lot of that question is going to revolve around what does Mike Bobo want to do offensively and schematically. I think that is somewhat the determining factor, because I think he wants to, and it's let's call a spade a spade. Luke Doty's a freshman. Like, you can do all this stuff in high school and have all these highlights and stuff like that, but this is a different level. This is a different level of football. I don't want to say pump the brakes, because I think South Carolina fans should be excited, but let's let it kind of play out. Because, I'm excited about Luke Doty as well, and I think Luke Doty can definitely push Ryan Hilinski. I don't think there's any question, but I think a fully healthy Ryan Hilinski, he's been thrown in the fire. We saw some of the freshman mistakes Ryan made. And again, he was hurt the second, really 3/4 of the year. But, that experience does mean something. So for Ryan to have basically a full year starting under his belt, he's been in those battles. He's been in those, in the trenches in there. I mean, that means something. So I think there will certainly be a battle. I think Luke Doty will definitely push Ryan Hilinski. No question. And I think it'll be good competition. But I still expect Ryan Hilinski to be the starting quarterback. Now, how does Colin Hill factor in? That's something I talked about a lot before. It's a really interesting dynamic. I think it's a win-win for both parties because obviously Colin Hill gets to come home, play for his home state school. He gets to get back with Mike Bobo. And then for South Carolina, I mean, either this kid's going to come in and have so much knowledge of Mike Bobo's offense that he's going to push Hilinski and maybe take the starting job. I mean, I highly doubt that, but you never know. Maybe that happens. Or he's going to serve as a mentor, as a father figure, as someone who has a lot of knowledge of Mike Bobo, the way he works, his scheme, his offense, things of that nature. He'll serve as that for South Carolina. He'll be a valuable piece and a valuable asset in that regard. Like I said, I still say Ryan Hilinski's QB1. I think he's QB1. I really do. I'd be very surprised if Ryan Hilinski's not your starting quarterback on opening day. But I think there will be good, healthy competition in the quarterback room. I do. I think there will be good, healthy competition. But again, I think Ryan Hilinski is your starting quarterback. Unless something drastic happens. I mean, you never know. This is college football. You never know what might happen. But I'm going with the safe bet that Ryan's going to be QB1. Seems like our impressive basketball wins are no longer so impressive. UVA not ranked. UK dropped. A&M is no good. Even Auburn, if we beat them, dropped a ton. Are we getting overexcited? I mean, you know, things were so down and out, man, that I'm going to let myself get excited over back-to-back SEC wins. I mean, I do agree, you know, the Virginia game or that Virginia team is extremely interesting because, like you're saying, they really fell off after South Carolina. I mean, I think they lost to Boston College in the next game. Like, been a weird year for them. The Kentucky win's a good win. I don't care how you slice it. That's a good win. I know they dropped in the polls, but that's a good win. Kentucky's a very, very good team. I know A&M's a very average team. They're middle of the pack, though. I mean, they're a team a lot like South Carolina, though. They get hot. They could be a decent team. So I wouldn't take anything away from it. I mean, again, South Carolina, you know, for them to bounce back from an 0-2 SEC start and beat Kentucky, beat A&M, and then again to go on the road to Charlottesville. I mean, listen, whatever happens after South Carolina plays them happens. But the fact of the matter is, Virginia was a top 10 team when South Carolina beat them. Kentucky was a top 15 team when South Carolina beat them. I mean, you can't take that away from the Gamecocks just because those teams are now slipping. So I get what you're saying, though, that maybe the wins aren't as impressive. But, I mean, if you beat Auburn tomorrow night, I don't think you should take anything away from this team for winning 3 straight and 2 of those 3 on the road. You absolutely should. Because, again, Auburn was a top 5 team. They're good. Like, they made the Final Four last year. They're good. They're a very, very, very good basketball team. So I will say if South Carolina beats Auburn, you as a South Carolina – I mean, the tough thing with basketball, a lot how the game is a game of runs. I think that's how kind of the season is too. So I'm trying to not get overexcited in the sense like, oh, we're going to make the tournament. Like this team's all of a sudden great because as hot as this team has gotten, as well as they played at times, we've seen how they look when they get cold. So, and normally what goes up must come down. So, you know, I'm holding back a little bit for sure because I remember, I mean, it wasn't very long ago we lost to Stetson. So it's funny, when I was on vacation down in Florida, I saw a few people walking around wearing Stetson shirts, and I was like, oh, my God. It brought back terrible memories. But, no, I mean, you know, I think you take it a game at a time, but you have to be excited and be optimistic about what you've seen over the last couple of games from Carolina basketball. It seems like things are finally clicking. You got a guy like Jermaine Kuznar who's finally sort of stepped up and been your leader. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. But I think you have reasons that you should be excited if you're a South Carolina fan. Let's see. Yes, I'll be at the game Saturday. My seats are in section 118. I'm lower level. So, yeah, I'll be at the game Saturday. Holler. We'll meet up. Just shoot me a DM or something. Do you think Hilinski might run more in a pro-style offense? I think you need the quarterback to run somewhat. I'm not saying he's got to run every play. I'm not saying he's even got to be like a dual threat, but look at what LSU did. I mean, look at what Clemson did with Trevor Lawrence. I mean, you got to be able to move the quarterback around and have that dynamic in your offense. So, you know, I don't know if Hilinski's going to run more. I really can't predict if they're going to run him more or not. It doesn't seem like they want to run him, in my opinion, but we'll see. I mean, listen, I think we're all going to learn a lot about what a Mike Bobo offense is. I think we really are. We're going to learn a lot about what a Mike Bobo offense is because, you know, we can pull film from Colorado State. We can pull from Georgia, but What is he going to do with this personnel? Like, I'll be very, very interested to see that. Clemson win looks better, right? LOL. Yeah, I mean, Clemson beating, I don't think anybody saw that coming. Clemson beating UNC and Duke. I was utterly shocked. I mean, utterly shocked. Here's the thing, though. UNC's terrible. UNC is god-awful. Beating Duke was shocking. Now, that was a very, very shocking one. But, I mean, here's the thing, man. South Carolina basketball, you want to make the NCAA tournament, you just got to keep winning games. I mean, that's the biggest thing. You got to win games, bottom line, you know. So, you know, I think the potential's there. I mean, I think you can certainly do it, but you got to just keep winning. I mean, you're probably not even going to be considered unless you win 12-plus SEC games. And, again, you're sitting at 2-2 right now. You take a look at the schedule. At Auburn, Vandy, at Arkansas, Mizzou, at Ole Miss, Texas A&M. There, you have a chance to string together. You have a chance to put together a really nice stretch and string together some wins and, you know, go on an impressive run, if you will. But you got to take it one game at a time. Because, again, like I said, what scares me a little bit is that as hot as South Carolina, you know, as quickly as South Carolina can get hot and win games, they can go cold and lose games just as fast. So I'm trying not to get too ahead of myself or too excited, if you will, trying to, like, keep it at bay for a little bit. But, you know, there's definitely things to be optimistic about right now, for sure. And then obviously when you speak about Gamecocks women's basketball, I mean, you know, I've made the joke all season, but I'm definitely half serious. It's like, wake me up when we get to the Final Four because, I mean, I don't see anybody beating Carolina. I don't see anybody taking out Dawn Staley. I think they've really got it rolling, that squad they've got. You know, something else. So I think it's going to be a really, really good year for Dawn squad. And I think we're probably going to see them in the national title again. I wouldn't doubt it. So, how bad is the hot seat for Kingston? Is the job less attractive after the last 8 years of being mediocre? I mean, I wouldn't say they've been mediocre the last 8 years. I mean, 2018, you literally went to the Super Regionals and were a game away from Omaha. You've had some years sprinkled in there too, where, I mean, you know, I mean, 2012, you made it all the way to the title. 2013, you had a really good year. I mean, those years, I mean, mediocre when you compare them to 2010 and 11 and 12. I mean, we didn't make it to Omaha into the national title, but I mean, I wouldn't say mediocre. But I mean, there's been some bad years sprinkled in. You know, 17 and 19 were bad years, but, you know, I think 16 you made the Super Regionals. I think 18 you made the Super Regionals. I mean, you know, it's a lot worse at some other programs, but this is a big year. I'm not ready to say hot seat for Mark Kingston. I'm not ready to say hot seat, but this is a big year. This is definitely a big year for Mark Kingston. You know, I was talking to a buddy of mine, a guy that played baseball for Carolina. You know, we were just talking about, you know, these last couple years, you know, like I said, 17 and 19 it happened, right? South Carolina's had some bad years here and there, but like, when is the last time Gamecocks baseball had back-to-back bad seasons or even missed the postseason back-to-back years? I mean, it's been since the 90s. It's been since the beginning of the Ray Tanner era, probably pre-Ray Tanner. It's been a long time since Gamecock baseball has done that. So this is a big season. You know, I will say till the day I die at South Carolina, you have no excuse to miss the postseason every single year. You have the talent. You have the facilities. You have the fan support. I look at this team. I was there in the fall. I'll be there this weekend at the scrimmages, which I cannot wait for, by the way. But, I mean, I've been at the inter squads, and I've seen this team, and I've seen the pitching staff, and I've seen the new guys they've brought in. You have the talent. Talent's not an issue. Talent is not an issue nor an excuse. Youth's not an excuse. They have the guys every single year. You should make the postseason at South Carolina as a minimum. I think the job is – if the job were to come open at some point, it is one of the most attractive jobs in the country, in my opinion. It's one of the most attractive jobs in the country. So, no, for sure. I mean, I think let me put it this way. I would be shocked. I'll be utterly shocked if South Carolina has another bad year. I'll be utterly shocked. But this is a big year for Kingston. I mean, no question. You said it. It's a big year. Like I said, I'm not ready to put him on the hot seat. I think no matter what he's going to get next year. But if they miss let's just call it out for what it is. If they miss the postseason again, 2021 will be the ultimate deciding year. I mean, I'm not going to be necessarily ready to fire him if they miss the postseason. I'll be very upset. And again, I'll be very surprised. And it won't be acceptable. It won't be acceptable. But you just got to let it play out. I mean, I'm not, again, I don't even want to think about that or predict that because I need Gamecock baseball to have a good season. But no, I mean, it's a big year for Mark Kingston, but I think the job is, I mean, it's one of the best jobs in the country, in my opinion. Again, you don't go to many schools for baseball where they have the type of facility, the type of fan support. You know, there's great recruiting in the Southeast. I mean, South Carolina is a name brand. You've won 2 national titles. There's great history, great tradition. It's the one sport on campus that has that, unless you know, if you want to include women's basketball, fine. But out of the big 3 men's sports, baseball has that. So, let's see. Sean, my name is Chris Phillips. It's Chris. So, yes, sir. I mean, not winning a conference series. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, last year was abysmal. Last year was terrible. I think we can all admit that. It was terrible. Terrible. I think the injury to Carmen Mlodzinski early in the year completely derailed South Carolina as far as their pitching staff. Then obviously hitting, they couldn't hit for shit either. It was terrible. It was awful. So, everything went wrong last year. It was a terrible, terrible season. But there's talent on this baseball team. There's talent on this baseball team, and that type of season's not acceptable. I mean, they would tell you that. The fans will tell you that. You know, Ray Tanner will tell you that. It's not an acceptable season at South Carolina, no question. Personally, I think Ray Tanner is very hesitant when it comes to letting any coach walk. There's a lot of hope for our program, especially. Yeah, I mean, Ray Tanner to me is a coach's AD. He sides with the coach. He doesn't want to pull the trigger. I think that's why you've seen Will Muschamp get the time he's getting. I said before I'm not a fire Frank Martin guy necessarily because I'm not shocked at what we're seeing with basketball. Like, I know Frank Martin's a pretty good head coach. He's a solid head basketball coach. You know what I mean? Like, he's a solid coach. I think fans just want to make the postseason. That's what it comes down to. But I still think Kingston's a good coach. Like, you don't come into a program and lead them to the super regionals if you're not a decent coach. I mean, he took guys on that 2018 team that on that 2017 team weren't very good. I mean, one of the guys that stands out to me, really a couple. I mean, Madison Stokes, for example. Justin Rowe. I mean, he took guys that were average players and made them above average, hitting over 300. I mean, that's coaching. What changed? The only thing that changed was the coach. So, I mean, Carlos Cortez, who we had on the show today, had a great year that year as well. So, I mean, I think Kingston's a good coach. I just really think last year was the perfect storm. I think they just ran into a buzzsaw. I just think it was a terrible year and everything went against them. And unfortunately, those years do happen. But you know, you got to rebound. You got to find a way to rebound this year. I mean, obviously, you know, I've said it once. I'll say it again. The baseball preview show will be coming up in the next couple of weeks. But Carmen Mlodzinski's 100% to me the key to your season. I mean, he's got to stay healthy. He was named a preseason 3rd-team All-American by D1 Baseball today. He's got to pitch like that. He's got to pitch like an All-American. I mean, bottom line, he needs to be that guy for you. No question. There's no questions asked. He's got to be that guy. You're going to have other guys step up behind him. You got to fill out the rotation. You got to fill out the situational guys. I get all that. But it all starts to me with Carmen Mlodzinski. He's got to be that dude on Fridays. Because last year, you know, you talked about earlier, or you brought up earlier, South Carolina losing all those SEC series. I mean, when you lose every Friday game, you're not in a good position to win series. You're just not. You're not in a good position to win series. You're not going to be. So there's not many teams that can come back from an 0-1 hole every weekend. And when you don't have your guy in Carmen Mlodzinski, it's just going to kill you. It's going to kill you. So, and especially in the SEC, when you're facing guys like Emerson Hancock and Rocker from Vanderbilt, both guys who are preseason first-team All-Americans for D1 baseball. And when you're facing those guys on a weekly basis, you need a guy like Carmen to step in there and go toe-to-toe with those guys. You just have to have that. I think it's more likely Lawson stays another year. He started hot, but watching guys like Silva who stay get a deal and guys like Dozier and G League. Oh, I think Lawson's got to stay. I mean, you know, with all due respect to AJ Lawson, I think he's got game. I think he's a solid player, but he's not having the year that I think any of us were expecting him to have, or that I'm sure he expect to have. So definitely another year at the college level I think is needed. I think would help his game. I'll be utterly shocked if AJ Lawson leaves. I don't see it happening. So I think AJ Lawson will, should, and needs to come back. No question. Bob Caslin sides with the fan base. Ray Tanner sides with the coaches. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a weird dynamic. Obviously, things have died down, thankfully, since football season's over and Caslin's not getting interviewed and all this other BS. But yeah, that was a crazy sequence of events. that was a crazy sequence of events we had with Caslin and Tanner. I don't know. I don't really know where Caslin sides, what his kind of MO is. I mean, I think Caslin's a no BS kind of dude. He's a former military guy, and in the military, it's very black and white. There is no gray area. So it's either you get the job done or you don't. Period, point blank, bottom line. So I don't think Bob Caslin's going to sit around and just let it happen. Is going to let these things happen and not take action. So we will see. But, I mean, I said before, I'll be surprised if Ray Tanner's the AD come the first football game. I don't know. Maybe he will be, but, I think there will be a change there. So. Like I said, guys, you have any questions, comments, whatever, this is all good stuff. It can be anything. It can be Gamecocks related. It can be not Gamecocks related. Does anybody know what time the Hall of Fame class is announced? What time does that come on TV? I'm trying to watch that. Don't know. I don't know how Barry Bonds and Clint, they need to be there. Oh, here we go. 6 o'clock on OB Network. Okay. Oh, God, that's, 37 minutes. I don't know how I think Clemens and Bonds have got to be in there. So it's just absurd to me. I mean, listen, they all, if you can't put them in, then nobody from that era should get in. Nobody. I mean, I respect the integrity of the game and all that good stuff, but like Barry Bonds, did he juice? Yeah, but I mean, dude, you got to be able to hit the damn baseball. So if the football team sucks this year, is Will fired? What is your prediction for? I've got 5-7 for the football season. That's my prediction right now. I think 5-7, 6-6, right in that number. I think at that number, I think Will Muschamp, yes, I think he is fired. I mean, I think 6-6 sort of murkies it up a little bit because you made a bowl, but anything less than a bowl bid, I think Will Muschamp's out of there. I think it's no question. I mean, I think Will Muschamp needs to win 7 or more games to really make people feel good again and to keep his job. No question. Thoughts on the recent transfer quarterbacks? Yeah, you talking South Carolina or just in general? Because like I said, I like Colin Hill. I think he can bring a lot to the roster, but I mean, there's Jamie Newman going to Georgia. I think that's a great pickup. God, I mean, I love Ryan to death, but man, I would have loved for Jamie Newman to come to South Carolina. I think the pickup, Derek King from Houston, I think that's his name, went to Miami. That's an interesting one. Miami obviously needed a QB, so they got their guy. But yeah, I mean, Colin Hill in South Carolina, I mean, again, I think he'll serve as a good piece as far as he's either going to push for playing time or he's going to be a mentor type figure, a guy who knows a lot about Bobo's system and scheme and offense. He's going to be able to rub off on those other guys. So I think it's only a positive move. Yeah. Oh, I forgot. Felipe Franks to Arkansas. That's a weird one. That's a very interesting one. That's a strange one. What was it? Sam Pittman gets the job at Arkansas, and then Felipe Franks goes. It's funny. I talked to a Florida fan, and I asked him. They actually cover the University of Florida for I think it's Inside the Gators or Gator, one of their websites, whatever it is. But they basically told me, they're like, I'm so happy he's gone. And Felipe Franks, I think, got sort of the Jake Bentley treatment. He was sort of like Florida's Jake Bentley. He had his highs, he had his lows, but at the end of the day, fans more often than not, most of the fan base was pretty happy to see him go. So, I don't know how Franks will do at Arkansas. I mean, I'm sure he'll be the starter, but tough to say how he's going to do at Arkansas. Let's see. Prediction 5-7, 2-6. That's your wins. Coastal, ECU, Kentucky. Man. Yeah, I mean, and that'll be a bad year. And Will Muschamp will be fired. And I mean, listen, I'm predicting 5-7. I'm not saying you're wrong. I think I have exactly what you have. But there are no quality wins on that. None. There are just none. There are no quality wins. So, we all know what's on the line for Will Muschamp and company. We all know what's on the line. No questions asked. I mean, 5-7 is not going to be enough to keep his job. It's not going to get the job done. It's not going to make USC fans happy, and it shouldn't make USC fans happy. Everyone's been saying Birch may leave. What do you think? If you're talking about Jordan Birch, I think he's a Gamecock. I mean, I literally, that's the least of my worries. He's a Gamecock in my mind. Let's see. Derek King was supposed to declare for the draft, or that's what everyone thought was going to happen, the move to him for him to transfer. Yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, you just never know why these kids do what they do. Maybe he just saw the right opportunity. I mean, hell, I don't know. I mean, or maybe he got some advice that, hey, you're not going to be a very high draft pick. That might be something else as well. Weirdest hire of the year is Sam Pittman. Yeah, I mean, listen, very highly respected guy, highly regarded guy. I don't know that Sam Pittman's going to turn Arkansas football into a power or turn them around, or I don't really know what the goal of Arkansas football is. I really don't. But, they sure were quick to fire Chad Morris. I mean, I just 2 years. Listen, we want Will Muschamp gone, but it's been 4 years. I mean, good Lord, you find after 2? That's tough. When will the ACC be legit? Never. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, you got to get FSU and Miami back. Those two have to get back. You need those two to become powers again. That's what's going to make the ACC legit. If you're waiting on North Carolina, I mean, which granted, North Carolina had a good year, but to seriously challenge Clemson, if you're waiting on like UNC or Wake or Georgia Tech, it's just not going to happen. You need FSU and Miami to get their shit together. That's really what has to happen. Feel like we fell apart after that Florida game. Could have won, but I don't know if our guys didn't believe in. Are you talking football or basketball? Are you talking football or basketball in regards to the Florida game? Because we lost both, obviously. So, yeah. Thoughts on Joe Brady going from LSU to come? A lot of guys, I'm not surprised. He was a guy that was in the NFL, came back to college, had a great year, capitalized on it. I mean, a lot of guys that's kind of their ultimate goal is to coach in the NFL. I'm not shocked. I mean, he probably just saw the opportunity and took advantage of it. I mean, I'm not shocked at it at all. I think the Panthers got a really good one too. Obviously, the guy's extremely smart, had a great year in Louisiana, so big pickup for Carolina, no doubt. Football. They got I'm not a blame the refs for everything type guy, but I mean, South Carolina definitely got shacked a little bit by the SEC officials. I thought our guys believed. I thought in that game they battled. After that game, though, I'm taking a look back at the schedule. Tennessee was the demoralizing loss. And that was you go up to Knoxville and just get your butts kicked, especially when you're leading at halftime. I don't know what happened the second half in Knoxville and beyond. It was brutal. So, who is going to step up for the Auburn game? That's a great question. I think you need to continue for Kuznar to do what he's doing, but that's the $1 million question, man. It seems like a different guy every time. Will it be A.J. Lawson? Will it be Bolden? Will it be Minaya? Is Trey Hannibal going to be back? Is TJ Moss going to be back? Who knows? Just honestly, the answer is who knows. I'd love to see A.J. Lawson explode and have a big game. I just love him to kind of reintroduce himself a little. You know what I mean? Like, let everybody know, hey, like, I'm still a really, really good player. I'd love to see that happen, but we'll see. So, is this the best era of Gamecocks in pro sports? Probably so. 8 straight Super Bowls there have been Gamecocks in it. You've got Debo versus Rashad Fenton, and I think Chris Lamont is also on the Chiefs. I don't know if he's on the practice squad or actual roster, whatever he is. Anyways, what you're seeing, though, in the professional ranks is just the product of those great teams we saw through the 2010s, through that decade. You're seeing the result of those great teams. And that's all you're seeing. We had a ton of great athletes come through, and now they're balling out at the professional level. It's just, that's exactly what you're seeing. Cox by 90, no doubt, sir. Stay tuned, by the way, for some merch dropping Thursday that revolves around Cox by 90. That's one thing I can just tell everybody. New merch drops Thursday. Got 2 new T-shirts I'm very, very excited about, and I think you guys will really like. So just to give you a heads up. Imagine Jake Bentley has a great year with Utah and wins the Pac-12. I mean, it could happen. I mean, is there going to be a player more followed that's not on the South Carolina roster in like history than Jake Bentley? I don't think so. I really don't. How will he do at Utah? I mean, listen, a lot of people are saying he's going to go there, but I think Jake Bentley's going to have a fine year. I think he's going to have a really good, but like, I'm not expecting Jake Bentley to go there and be like a Heisman contender. Like at this point, Jake Bentley kind of is who he is. I think he'll be a guy that'll rack up a bunch of yards. I think he'll throw a lot of touchdowns, but I think he'll probably still be the guy that every now and then makes a boneheaded decision, that throws it into traffic, that, whatever, just kind of has a Jake Bentley moment. I mean, that's kind of how I see it. So, the shirts, I think, go up to 3XL. I could probably get a bigger one if needed, maybe. I'd have to check in on that. But I know for a fact they go to 3XL. So, but yeah, that's going to do it. I like to keep these about 30 minutes or so. That's going to do it. Got to record tomorrow's show. Got some other stuff going on. But, yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate all the questions. Like I said, probably going to drop a teaser now, but be sure to be on the lookout for those T-shirts coming Thursday. Really excited about the new merch. It's going to be fire. Let's see. Got a couple more questions rolling in, and we'll wrap it up. Kind of like a Jacob Eason year. Yeah, I would say that's a pretty fair comparison. I guess it's time for Utah to feel our pain. Yeah, I mean, if Jake Bentley's anything more than Jake Bentley, I'll be a little bit surprised. Thoughts on the Mississippi State game last night? I mean, the officiating was questionable. I feel like every game we're saying the officiating was questionable. So let's just assume, listen, the officiating's bad, blanket statement for every South Carolina game from here on out. But I mean, just Dawn Staley and crew doing what they do. I mean, I thought South Carolina maybe was a little sloppy here and there defensively, but overall, Dawn Staley and company, big-time win. You get that win at home. You get your 6th win over a ranked opponent. No complaints on my side. I mean, I would never question Dawn Staley and her team, what they're doing. They keep on keeping on. Obviously, it's all setting up for that huge matchup against UConn that'll be coming up soon, but not surprised at all. Not surprised at all what Dawn Staley and that squad's doing. Not surprised. So appreciate it, guys. We will talk soon. Like I said, if you haven't done so, tune in episode 195 of the Spurs Up Show that dropped this morning. A packed show, obviously coming back from the holiday, coming back from vacation for me, and then also a fantastic interview with Carlos Cortez. You do not want to miss that. So be sure to tune in. Appreciate you guys tuning in, though. We'll talk to you again very, very soon. Probably be doing this again. Probably tomorrow. We'll probably do like a little pregame show or something like that. But Solo Bowen, appreciate the shout out, guys. Take care. And again, we'll talk soon. Thanks so much. Have a great night.